and welcome to 5 Minutes with David. Today I want to share with you one important value that everyone should have: taking responsibility. Now I want to start it off with a movie that I have watched. I have watched it several times, Pirates of the Caribbean. In one particular sequel, The Dead Man's Chest. In this particular scene, Jack Sparrow took his crew to visit a goddess. And when they got there, Jack Sparrow told his first mate, Mr. Gibbs, mind the boat. Mr. Gibbs also turned around, and the next person to him, he said, mind the boat. The next person, that person also turned around and then said to the next person, mind the boat. Now it went on till it got to the man who couldn't talk. He was mute. And so when it got to his turn, his parrot, that was speaking for him, also said to the man, mind the boat, and the parrot flew away. So it was left with the man to mind the boat. Now, why am I saying this? This thing speaks perfectly about the generation that we live in. It speaks perfectly about most of our lives. People like to share responsibilities. They don't want to take responsibility for anything. Now today, I want us to talk about taking responsibilities, not only for ourselves, but for our country. Very, very important. Now, we hear this a lot, take responsibility. We hear at home, at school, in our workplaces. We hear this every day thrown at us. Now, what is taking responsibility? First, let's start small. What does it mean to take responsibility in our lives? Responsibility is not just a word. It is a daily choice. It is keeping our promises, showing up. It is owning up our mistakes and fixing them instead of blaming others. It is doing the right thing even when people are not looking. Taking responsibility is the basis it is the foundation for everything good. If we cannot manage our own life, we cannot amount to anything great. First of all, we are responsible for our own lives, for our families, for our work. But beyond all that, we are responsible for something greater. That is, being responsible to our country. As citizens, being responsible to our country is the greatest thing that we can do. Now, a country is not managed by government alone. A country cannot improve, cannot grow only by a government alone. And we cannot depend only on the government to do everything. Now, John F. Kennedy, he said something great that I want to share with us. He said, ask not your country of what it can do for you, but ask yourself what you can do for your country. In fact, most of us love to go to the US, but the US was not made great alone by its government, but it is, and it was by men and women who took it upon themselves to do something great. That is why US is great. Every ordinary person has a role to play. When we are disciplined, hardworking, honest, and law-abiding, we are already serving our country. When we protect our environment, we protect our culture. When we live with integrity, we are helping our country grow from the inside. Now, we all know of the story of David and Goliath. I believe we all love this story because it's a story that gives hope. It is a story that says even the small can overcome the great. In 1 Samuel 17, it talks about how David defeated Goliath. And we all love this story. But there is one thing that we almost nearly forget. That David took responsibility when Saul was running away from it. When he got there and he heard how Goliath was cursing the Israelites, he took it upon himself to fight Goliath. That was taking responsibility. Now, be responsible. I'm not saying that be like David, go and kill any Goliath. No. But being responsible is being honest in our workplaces. Being responsible is being trustworthy in the small things that we do. Being responsible is doing our work as if that work that we are doing is for us. Now, we live in a country or in a continent where we like to blame others. If the government could do that, if my mom had done that, if my father had done that, if my teacher had done that. Yes, they did not, but what are you doing? Are you taking responsibility for your own life? That is the most important thing. Taking responsibility starts from us. We cannot expect others to be responsible when we are not. We need to be responsible as a student. We need to be responsible to ourselves, to the books that we study. We need to study. As a parent, you know, we always every day complain that the government is not doing anything. The government is not helping. But have we thought that this government and these leaders that we always complain about, they are from our communities? So as a parent, if we don't, as a parent, as a community, if we don't bring our children up the way that we would want them to be, if we want our government, our leaders to behave and to live by their promises and to do things that will help our community, our country, then we need to bring our children up in the same manner. Because if we leave them to do all sort of things, we cannot expect them to do something greater when they become leaders. As parents, we need to be responsible. So the rot that we see in leaders these days is as a result of how our communities brought up our leaders. So from leaders, from community, from the community, from the neighborhood, and to our parents, we all have a hand to play in these kind of rot. So we cannot just sit and be pointing fingers. We need to be responsible. We cannot just impregnate a woman and just leave them like that and expect to have great people in our countries. If a father does not take care of the children that they bring into this world. Now we say that there is no job. We hear on the news and we watch on the TV stations and even in our social media platforms, people complain that there is no job. Imagine having a child. You did not take care of the child. The child did not go to school. So if government should bring a job, what would that kind of person do? With no sort of education, no sort of information, no proper upbringing, what will happen? So as a father, we need to take care. We need to take charge of our children. Just do the possible best that we can to bring these children up in the best way that we can. As a mom, we need to also take responsibility. Responsibility is a choice that we need to live by if we want our country to grow. Taking responsibility, we live in a place, in a continent or in a country where people, especially people, say that, oh, this is government work. It is not. Why do you take this is government work? Why do you take it as your own? That is ridiculous. That is not taking responsibility. People do their work anyhow because it is government work. When we do that, there is no way there will be productivity in our country. People will always rush out of the country and move to other countries to find jobs. One time I was reading in the news that Amazon were cutting off jobs because they are now bringing robots to do those kind of work. Now, imagine that if we live in a country that everyone is traveling out, there will be a time that you will travel out and you will not get job to do because the menial jobs that you think you will be going to do there, robots are doing them. We need to be responsible. Don't just say that it is not in my house, so I don't care. When we see wrong, we should report that. We should speak up. When there is a gutter in the community that is causing sickness, breeding mosquitoes, and all sort of things, we need to be responsible. The government is not going to come down to our various communities to come and clean the gutters for us. We are supposed to do that. We need to be responsible, take charge of our own communities, take charge of our lives. Yes, some of us may not have been brought up the best way we wanted. As Dr. John Maxwell always say, we are responsible to what happens within us. We are not responsible for what happens around us, but we are responsible for the things that happens within us. What we choose to do is what we are responsible. No, sometimes by circumstances or by the system, it fights against us, but we are responsible of our actions. The action we are responsible. The actions that we take, we are responsible to them. No, most of the time you say that, oh, God will do it. Oh, let's leave it to God. My fellow believers, God has already done it. When he went to the cross, he said, it is finished. Bible says when he finished on the last day, he rested. God has done everything. Apostle John Suleiman always say that God can do everything, but he will not do that which man can do. What we can do, God is not going to do it for us. So it is upon us. It is up to us to take responsibility and do things that will help us and do things that will benefit us. Because if we do not, and we always share a responsibility, there will be a time that we will find ourselves going back into slavery again. I read in the news from the BBC that America wants to sign a deal with Zambia, and it involves their minerals. So America wants to be the first choice when it comes to when they want to sign mineral deals with other countries. They should first of all look at American companies should take preference before other countries. Now, do you know the sad thing? In the news, it says that if Zambia do not agree to that, it means America is going to withdraw the help that they give in helping the drugs that is sent to the HIV patients in Zambia. Imagine that the whole country can be held to ransom. That if you do not sign this deal, we are not going to fund the drugs that you use to take HIV patients in the country. And from the news, they had about 1.3 million people. I've forgotten the exact number, but millions of people are going to suffer because if Zambia do not agree to that deal, America is going to withhold that funding. So if we do not take responsibility for our countries and do the right thing and say, I'll run away, I'll go to another country, I will do that, there will be a time that it has been happening. It happens that when they give aid, they give you instructions. But this one is very critical. We are not going to give you drugs if you don't sign this deal. That is very serious. And that is the point where some African countries we have gotten to. So we must be responsible to our countries. The little things. If you are a teacher, don't just teach math. Don't just teach subject and go. We must teach values, taking responsibility, be patriotic. When you go to the workplace as a civil servant, don't say that it's government work and so you will do it. You will do it any way you like. We are having shortage of jobs in our countries because those in the civil servants did not take charge to do the right thing, so that there will be profit for government to use to open other jobs. We are all responsible for that, for what is happening in our countries. So, my brothers and sisters, I just want to say that we all know we have an emblem back home, Jinyami, except God. Yes, and it is true that except God, but Bible says that the heavens belongs to the Lord. I think it is in Psalms. But the earth he has given to the sons of men. we are responsible as a pastor. We are responsible for teaching, as we are teaching the congregation that this world is not our own. We are not citizens of this world. Our citizenship is in heaven. We must also let them know that before we go to heaven, we must live in this body, and this body will leave it on earth. So we must be responsible for everything, for everything that we are involved in. Most importantly, we must be responsible for our countries. When you see something bad, just say it. Now, there is so much galamsey talk in our part of the world that it has become a menace, because people involved in these kind of acts are big people. They are mining. When you go to some countries where people are planting trees, they are greening their environment. When we come back to our own place, we are cutting down trees and can you imagine? I read in the news in Germany that they helped whale that has been stuck in sand. They helped a whale. They just pulled the whale back into the sea. And we are there destroying our resources. We are there destroying the very thing that is the backbone of our country. We are there, and we say that, there is no work. I did not go to school. We are just using some excuses to destroy everything that we have. People take monies and do this kind of galamsey and then send their children away from the country. When we do that, until when will we just see that the place that we find, there is no place like home, as we always say, that the country that we live in our countries, no matter how, they said, no matter how sweet your palm, the back of your hand, when you tickle it, no matter how sweet it will be, it will not be equal to the inside, your palm. It will not be the same. You can send your children to abroad and they will go and study there. They will still be racially abused. They will still be looked down upon. Let us take charge of our countries. Let us do the right thing by us. Now, imagine like this Zambian case that the BBC reported. I quite remember when I was young, when I heard about this HIV/AIDS. I am in my 30s now, and Africa as a continent has not been able to come together to find ways to deal with this disease. We are still depending on other countries, US, to bring us drugs. Where are we going as a people? Where are we going as a continent? We must be responsible. We need to be responsible. It is a must, because if we don't, there will be a time that even the food that we will eat, there will be instructions on that. People are being moved. People are being sent back home. In the US, they are deporting people. The UK, the Irish people are saying they are tired of people coming to their countries. There will be a time that there will be no place for us to run to if we do not develop our own countries, if we do not take responsibility. When we come to the stations, we must talk about things that will help. It is very, very important that we take responsibility of the things that is going on around us. As a nurse, we are responsible for our patients. We must do the work well. We must do our work well. It is very, very important. We all have a role to play. It is not only the government that we should be berating the government. The government is you and I. If we don't start from us, if it doesn't start from us, there is no way we will be able to develop our countries and our continents. It is very, very important. Let us take responsibility in the little things, in the small, small things. And when we do that, we will also grow. We will get to some place if we decide to take responsibility and do things differently. Because the countries that we see them as great, China, US, they did not just become great. They did not come down from heaven. People took charge. People decided Let me just share a story. Another story again. Today, everything is about a story. You know, Chinese celebrates one particular festival, Dragon Boat Festival. And this Dragon Boat Festival, they celebrate it because there was one man who saw the bad things that was happening in the country, where leaders were mismanaging the country, where people were just living in some way. The man became so tired because of the rot in the country that he just jumped into a river and died. And now it has become a celebration, a festival that Chinese people celebrate. So China that we see today, they did not just become great. They started from somewhere. People took charge. People took responsibility of their actions and not just shared responsibility away. No, in the Bible, Jephthah said, I took my life into my own hands. If we do not take our life into our own hands, we will not get to anywhere. We will not get to anywhere. So we need to take charge. We need to be responsible and not just only blame government. We must blame ourselves. If a father is not taking care of the child grows and becomes something else. And the government is not going to be able to provide jobs for everyone. When you go to school, study well. If it is work, some profession that you can. Nowadays, people don't even study. They don't learn this practical things. This plumbing and tiling and then the masonry. Youth of today are not into that. If you cannot go to school, find yourself a work to study. Now, be responsible. I'm not saying that be like David, go and kill any Goliath. No. But being responsible is being honest in our workplaces. Being responsible is being trustworthy in the small things that we do. Being responsible is doing our work as if that work that we are doing is for us. It's our own work. Most of the time, especially those who have traveled abroad, when they see something, hey, Ghana, this will only happen in Ghana, this cannot be happening in Africa. That the nation, Ghana, is not Ghana because of the land. Ghana is Ghana because of the people. A nation does not exist because of the land, but a nation exists because of the people that are living in it. Those countries that we are living in, and then we always complain, Ghana, Ghana, Ghana. What are we doing as a people? So I just want to say that we can get there if we want to be responsible. No, some time ago I was arguing with a friend, not argument, but we were just discussing. And there is this thing that we always say, Ghana, it means that it will not work. Ghana, it will not work. So I was just arguing or debating with him that, when we continually say this, now it stucks at the back of our mind that the nation, it will not work. So when you go to your workplaces, when you are doing something, when we are working, or in our daily dealings, we already have it at the back of our mind that it will not work. So that thing takes preeminence. It directs us. It is the thing that directs our life, our path, our decision, because we think it will not work. So if somebody is in the government office, the person thinks that Ghana will not work. So all the things that he will be doing it only for himself and his family, and forget about the rest of the people. So when we have it at the back of our mindset that it will not work, indeed, we will do things that will correlate with our mindset. So we need a change of our minds. It will work if we want it to work. A nation rises if its people rise. A nation prospers if its people are responsible. When we run away from our duties, it makes the nation very weak. But when we take charge, the nation grows. So let us be responsible. Let us take charge of our countries, and the nation will become great. We all know this anthem, God bless our homeland, can I make this nation great and strong. If we do not do it, nobody will do it for us. If we do not rise, there will be a time, if we do not rise now, there will be a time that the children who will come after us, they will curse us. So let us do the little that we can all do. Let us do our work diligently. Let us be responsible. Let us work hard. Let us do our work as if they are our own job. Let us not say that it's government work. Let us not only look at the government. As a father, as a parent, take care of the children. Bring them up well. As a student, when you go to school, study well. Wherever we find ourselves, let us do our job. Let us do our part. Because if we don't, what has happened to Zambia, if we do not take care, it is something that will ravage the whole continent. So, what are some of the practical ways that we can take responsibility? Number one, pray like it is on God, but work like it is on you. Yes, because if we do not work, nobody will come and do the work for us. Number two, own your corner. As I said earlier, the president will not walk down or fly from the Flagstaff Half and come and clean your street, come and clean your gutter. He will not come and put rocks on the muddy places in your vicinity. So we must all own our corner. The government is not going to take care of your child for you. He's not going to study for you. He's not going to take care of your business. You need to take care of your own business. Because great nations are built by great people. Benjamin Franklin, you all know, but we've all heard of Benjamin Franklin, who first worked in an printing press with his brother. He's one of the founding fathers of US. He started from being an apprentice and to becoming one of the people who wrote the Declaration of Independence. Let us hold our leaders accountable, respectfully. If a leader does something that is not good, that is not what all the nation wants. That is not going to lead us to our freedom, our economic freedom. If a leader does something that is irresponsible, let us not be divided by politics, tribal politics, partisanship. This will not lead us anywhere. And if we are to hold them accountable, we need to do that respectfully. Let us do constructive criticism rather by insulting leaders and elders. That will not lead us anywhere, because those leaders that we are insulting, they came from our communities. So if there is anything to insult, it is the community that they came from that that needs to be insulted. It is So what I'm trying to say is that we need to be constructive in our criticism. When we are having arguments on radio stations, it needs to be constructive. Sometimes you sit on the radio, you listen to the radio, and all the arguments that are being led, you don't know where they are driving at. Just outbursts and insults that do not drive our nation to anywhere. As a people, we should know that we are coming from somewhere and we are going somewhere. Let us criticize our leaders like our lives depends on it. Let us make sure that we are living here, and those who will come after us will have a better place to live. Our economy is being led and directed by powers from on high, from other places, because we are not financially sound, because we are not financially free. We are told to do what seems right to other people. When we are voting, let us vote like our lives depends on it, because it does. If we do not vote right, if we are led by emotions and common tribal politics, we will not go anywhere. it is our responsibility to see to it that the leaders that we vote into power are those who have the interest of Africans, of Ghanaians, of the nation at heart. That is what will lead us. That is what will emancipate us. Insults leads nowhere. The outburst will lead to nowhere, but constructively, respectively, drawing leaders' attention to what they are doing. When the kind of things that we say will even know the leader, will enable the leaders to know that the people that they are leading are not just any people, they're not any common people, they are not ignorant people. But when we come in and burst and speak just like that, it will not change anything. So it is important that we hold our leaders accountable. If we do that, if they will know that indeed we are knowledgeable, we have information, we are wise, and we need to be led as such. It is important. If we don't hold them accountable, they will do things the way that they like, and they will be enjoying whilst the rest will be suffering. So if someone is doing something that is not right, don't just say because the person is in your party. So you will just, that is what has been going on in our nations, in our continent, in Ghana specifically. When a party is on power and they are not doing the right thing, because the people belong to that party, they just follow them. It is not right if you want to be free. Lastly, but not least, believe that God is counting on you to make your country great. Look at it as God is believing in you. God is looking at you to do well in your country. So look in the mirror. The question is not, God bless our homeland Ghana. It is, God, use me to bless my homeland Ghana. God richly bless you. Now, if this message resonated with you, I want you to share, like, and comment. And tell me how you are going to be responsible in the coming days, in the coming months, how you'll be responsible to your country. God richly bless you.